Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to my busy living room as the toddler goes about her business. And maybe what she's been doing is programming the flight model of this aircraft. What is this, the CW-21? Something like that. It's roughly the same as the Hawk, and yet it's a little bit different. Are you starting to see what may be something of an issue with this rank 1 monoplane? Yes, it climbs like a rocket. It just hits a certain speed, and that's the speed you go, even if your nose is somewhat high in the air. Something of an issue, eh? Also, speaking of, suddenly the clouds appear. Why do clouds suddenly appear every time replays are here? So, do you guys remember the request by the community for sexy clouds? These are not the sexy clouds we asked for, let me tell you that. And like Bespin, it's Cloud City up in here, so enjoy Grey Thunder. But far be it from me to sound like I'm complaining about this series of events, because while it doesn't make for good, fair, and balanced gameplay... Oh, by the way, thank you, Optical Ilyushin, for sending in the replay. I should have announced that earlier, but he sent me this one and he said, you gotta show this to people. So... this is I think it's called the CW-21, and it's in the Chinese aviation tech tree, and it's broken, as you can probably tell. We're watching Ilyushin fly to combat altitude for a rank 4 interceptor in the first few minutes of the match. Let's see if we can climb high enough to see the curvature of the Earth, shall we? Oh, there's the snail down there, not working on flight models. So, welcome to one of the buggiest updates of War Thunder. We have a sound system that makes you sound like you're on drugs, or makes you feel like you're on drugs. That is supposed to be an improvement over the previous systems that only sometimes made you feel like you're on drugs and sounded tinny most of the other times. An improvement, I suppose. But all of that is to be expected on the test server. You say, Toshio, this is the live server. And I say, yes. This is also the test server. Apparently the only test server the Gaijin uses to test out implementations to the game, because we get the bugs fresh off the grill, as it were. Anyway, I'm not bitter, I'm just avoiding areas of the game that are broken. And unfortunately, that's rank 1, anything that faces the CW-21. Because this aircraft is both highly maneuverable, as it should be, for an early monoplane. Rocket powered. Wait, I used the word both, and I'm listing more than 2 things. Please excuse my own foibles. It's rocket powered, as you see us diving on a biplane. It's low rank, and its wings never fall off. Perfectly balanced, comrade. Perfectly perfect. Is no Russian bias. Is no laziness. Is optical illusion. So welcome to something that is sure to turn off many new players of the game. Right smack dab in the beginner ranks of War Thunder, you have an aircraft that does not obey the laws of physics. In a game that otherwise, being based on an air combat simulator, has done a fairly good job of modeling the aircraft that it faces in a somewhat realistic manner. And then you have this. that zoom climbs at a fair 60 degrees at around 80 miles per hour. There's certainly nothing wrong or game-breaking for a multiplayer game about that. No. So enjoy the CW-21 while you can. If you feel like being a goose, a munchkin, a MacGuffin, it's going to get a flight model. But with all of the other aspects of this update that feel rushed, for an update that contains some of the easiest content to implement into the game, night vision mechanics that have been in the works for at least, a year and a half? Probably more like 2 years. Those are working fairly well. The updated sound file that is Boris's sound mod. Good job, Gaijin. I see the effort you put into that. And it's been... well, I think Boris's sound mod sounded better than what we have now. How do you mess that up? Copy my work, but make it look a little bit different so the teacher doesn't know we're copying, okay? So Gaijin copies the sound mod and then just kind of barfs over some of the logic. Anyway, again, not bitter, just impressed. I'm actually having a blast right now playing the F-89D as Optical Ilyushin opens up on that Chaika that's just completely out. And look at this. Rule number 1 for these early prop aircraft is you do not take them into an extended vertical climb. They lose their energy very rapidly. They don't have exceptionally powerful engines. They don't have a whole lot of mass. So you want to turn fight with them. You want to do tight vertical loops if that's something that your airplane's good at, and you never want to zoom climb the way you see the CW-21 doing in these engagements. And of course, that's because this aircraft is broken. And is broken in such a way that it can just easily outperform the most competitive aircraft that it could possibly face, in a way that they have no counter for, because again, the CW-21 handles nicely in a turn. It's going to be difficult to defensive fly against it. It can fly right up as long as it wants to, which is impossible to counter if you can't produce infinite energy the way it can. Basically, you're playing this game like a bot. Bots in War Thunder can kind of pull energy out of their tailpipe if they need it. It's like Mario Kart. They're always on your tail if they want to be. And they get adjusted. And the CW-21 will get adjusted. But how long does it take to notice these aspects of the CW-21? How long does it take you to take off the runway and climb at a 60-degree angle and think, is this the ME-163? No. Then why does it fly like one? And add to that the fact that this airplane is just plain butt ugly. It's had a minimum of effort put into it. It's essentially a copy of an aircraft that already exists for the Americans and also exists in a few forms as rare vehicles for, I think, other nations. I think, is it France that gets? I can't remember. Somebody gets a Hawk. And yet, all they had to do is copy the flight characteristics from one flight model to another, and then maybe make tiny, minuscule adjustments for the specifics of this aircraft, although I doubt they would need to. Just copy the Curtiss Hawk that already appears in the tech trees of other nations. China's a copy-paste nation, and they still manage to mess up the dynamics of the vehicles. All you have to do is Control-C, Control-V! And yet, how do you mess that up? Well, Gaijin does what they do. And it's because they're working on too many things at once. The whole fix the game idea is a good idea, and it is something that needs to be balanced. Just like the BRs needed. Oh, did you think he was going to die? What did I tell you about the wings of this aircraft? Curtis Hawk used Body Slam. It's super effective. Gaijin, slow down. Implement less new vehicles, less new features with your updates. We have lots of stuff to play with. Give us an update that is half of what you planned, and spend the rest of your time actually flying the aircraft you're putting into your game. Actually driving the tanks you're putting into your game, even in a test drive, but maybe play a custom battle or two. Just a few with the vehicles you're bringing in. Because we're getting tired of this. You can laugh, or you can cry. I'd like to see it different. Thanks for sending in this replay, Ilyushin. Maybe we'll talk more about what you're doing next time. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.